don't know. You cannot hate me. I want you to be my lady. But you don't know. 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 And the birds go.
Welcome to this week's episode of
Hey, I think we're good here.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Jackson Mckibbin.
And I'm Matt West, and we're here getting to know the sport of volleyball through the life experiences our guests have to share with us. Come take a listen. Today's guest is all-time great bruin, Micah Ma'a. Micah is a three-time All-American, UCLA's all-time ace leader, professional setter in France for the Team Poitiers, current setter and outside for the USA national team, and music artist by the alias Kama, whose song you heard in the intro. Take a listen to his story.
But I never really had a reason. Why you gotta be so needy, You can't think of me and what you think.
Oh,
Brada!
yes, sir. God, what is who is that?
That's me, bro.
Holy dude, how do you spell it? Like, how do you say that?
Mckibbin.
Metakekia. That is an unreal last name.
Italian, my friend.
That's so beast.
Nice to meet you, dude. I'm Jackson.
Yeah, Micah, nice to meet you, man.
For sure, bro.
Micah, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
Of course. Dude, 100%.
This is so rad. Just be you,
It's
Micah.
it's all we could ask for, man.
Right, exactly. I think that's the best product, you know?
So dude, thanks again, for real.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
So I guess the first question is, like, why volley?
Oh gosh, okay. I was kind of born into it. A lot of families, I feel like volleyball is like a generational thing.
For sure.
Especially in Hawaii. Like you have the Shojis, the Mckibbins, the Crabbs. A lot of times it's just in your blood, and that's like the easiest way to be around it from a super young age, just because it's not the most popular sport. So my dad coached. He was a professional player. Was on the USA team for a little bit. And then played Pro Beach when they had the 4-man tour, which I'm hoping they could bring back.
So sick.
Because the 4-man tour,
was the
I
dream.
would drop everything to play on that. It just looks like the greatest time.
That's the best volleyball, dude.
It
4-on-4 on the beach.
Dude, 100% is the best volleyball.
Yeah.
So he did that. My mom was a professional player. They both played at UH, met each other there. And then when they had my older sister, they moved back to Hawaii from SoCal and kind of stopped playing just to raise a family. But I just been around it my whole life. So I didn't really have a choice. Besides the fact that they let me play whatever I wanted. It was just what was around me, and I loved to compete. So that was kind of what I guess I channeled all my ADD and energy through. It was like a volleyball was always the nearest thing. So I just grabbed it and played with it a lot.
Dude, the guy I'm working for I work at University of Nevada, and my head coach played against your dad in college.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Santa Barbara.
Who's your head coach?
Lee Nelson.
Lee Nelson. I do know Lee Nelson.
He's the man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like even then, it's like volleyball is such a small community that
So
like
small.
you just keep seeing the same people, and like then they'll have a cousin that plays, or like it's kind of a family-oriented sport, with more than a lot of other things. It like just runs really heavy generationally.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Like, the more you think about it, and like, especially in the men's community, because there's only 20 programs or whatever. It's like everybody's played against or with or whatever, and it could be like at JOs when you like go out to like the sandbar, or like at Hermosa, or in the gym, or like whatever. But like everybody has ties some way.
For sure, everybody, which is I think like such a cool thing about volleyball.
I do too.
It's like so communal.
Yeah.
Like just going to like a beach volleyball tournament and like seeing people is such a great time. You just like I ran into you at when was that?
Yeah, I think I saw you down at
6-man or
no, I saw you down at I saw you at 6-man too, but I think I saw you down at Hermosa, and then you're just like sitting there on your phone, like, where the hell is Anna?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, it's just like it's super communal. It's like really like family oriented. I don't know. That's one of the few things I really like about volleyball.
Yeah,
sure.
especially those Hawaiian ties you have, man. Like
It's
with
really
all the great
small.
with all the great players coming out of Hawaii right now, and it's like only from a few families.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like people are like, "Oh, Micah and Kavika are from Hawaii." I'm like, "Yeah." Kavika's mom was my mom's roommate in college. They were my babysitters.
No way.
Micah grew up living in the same dorms of a high school that I lived in with my family. His family lived in there. Like everybody is just super close. It's super fun. It's super.
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome.
How old were you when you first started playing club?
I think I was 7. I want to say. I was actually my first club team I've ever was on was Micah Christensen's team.
A6 Rainbows?
Yes. Me
Dude,
and
so-
Tui.
So I was supposed to be on that team when I think you guys got 3rd.
I don't know. I didn't travel with them. I just played with them in Hawaii. My dad's like, I'm not paying for you to go over there.
I met Micah at Tucson at like an HP camp, and we were just talking, and then he knew my godfather because he's Hawaiian, and he was really close to the guy that like was the head coach for A6 Rainbows at the time. And then we keep talking shop, and Micah goes, "You're the Seattle kid?" And I was like, "Yeah." And Micah goes, he punches me as hard as he can because of course it's Micah, and he just rocks me, and he goes, "You cost me a gold medal, man. You're supposed to be on our team. If you were on our team, you would have won a gold medal."
Really?
Yeah.
And you were supposed to be on that team?
Yeah, because they asked me to come play for them because we didn't have a team that was going to JOs or something. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I want to go to Hawaii by myself at like 12, 13 or whatever.
Yeah, that's
And,
young. I did it my 18th year. I went and played in NorCal for the Worsleys. Yeah, and that was a blast, dude.
What was that club? Pac Rim?
Pac Rim, yep.
Yeah. I remember watching that finals. What position were you playing?
Outside.
Outside? Okay.
Yeah, I was outside. But yeah, that was such a blast, dude. That was so fun.
That was a stacked team, and you guys were going up against the HBC with TJ and Josh.
Yep.
That was a sweet final.
That was a super good final. That was a super good finals for sure.
How many JOs gold medals do you have?
7.
Yeah, the winningest JOs kid I think in history.
I guarantee you he has the most gold medals out of anyone.
How many repeats?
That's glory days. Right
how many repeats did you have? You had to play some. Was it 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18?
Yeah.
Oh, at every level.
But because I played up.
Yeah.
So we didn't win 18. So then I was gonna be done because I played with Tui and Evan, and they graduated and went to college.
Right.
And in Hawaii we have nobody. We had 8 people on our team.
Yeah.
And we didn't play boys tournaments. We just played national. Like Hawaii volleyball is the weirdest thing. So I was like, yeah, nice. I'll just play like high school, and then I'll just go to college. And then the Worsleys wouldn't stop bothering me about joining them, so I finally just said, yeah, I'll come play with you guys. And then
smart guys.
Yeah, and then we won that year.
Was Evan Enriquez's dad was your guys' coach at Kauluakoa?
No, my dad.
Oh, really? The whole time?
Yeah, since we were since I was 10, I think.
Okay, so
yeah,
because like a lot of us obviously don't have like that privilege of having literally the same 8 guys your whole career.
Yeah. Well, what happened actually was we had a team of I think 8 or 9, and then after my 15th year or 16th year, everybody left. Like, I don't know what happened. I guess there was drama. I just went over my head. I didn't really realize it until like my dad brought it up like last year, and I was like, wait, yeah, why didn't everybody leave? 4 of us, me, Tui, Evan, and Skyland Engelman, who was a libero for GCU. And we were like, hey, we don't have a team. Like, we have nobody. And Tui's mom found us, like, just players that were just willing, that weren't even, one didn't play club. He was a basketball player, was on, like, a varsity Iolani team. One was on JV for Punahou, was 3 years under Tui and Evan. Another one was like a JV player from Quimaha. Another one was not even on the Marino. Like, we just put together anybody we could find that was like, yeah, we don't really normally play club, but we'll come play with you guys. And then we took that team to 16s, 17s, and 18s, I want to say.
So how did your dad, you said your dad was coaching at the time, right?
Yeah.
How did he get those players up to speed, man? Because obviously you and Evan and
yeah,
Skyden have been playing for a while.
Yeah, I think he's just super big on fundamentals.
Mhm.
Like, we didn't scrimmage until the week before we'd go to nationals. That's the only time we play 6-on-6.
Wow.
Other than that, we never had enough people to play like 5-on-5. There's only 8 of us.
Yeah, that's how
And
it was in Seattle too. I'm with
we
you.
practiced 3 times a week in spring because Tui was our varsity quarterback. Evan lived on the Big Island, and everybody like played other sports, so we didn't practice like most of the year. So we only really had like 3 months, 4 months of 3 times a week, an hour and a half, and all we did was just like pass free balls and set free balls. That's pretty much it. It's the weirdest thing, I swear to God. But
Just
like,
practice hitting corners.
yeah, exactly. And then I think my dad just made their jobs really, really simple. And they like performed like really, really well. My dad, like, if it was a good pass, the middles would commit no matter what. And then they're like no read blocking. And then everybody has to block line. Like, we had a really good system.
Yeah,
Everybody
man. And
has
then
to
just
block
defend the angle. Just sit in.
and just defend the angle. And in the championship, actually, we started setting our middles. And our assistant coach, who like was there since I was a baby, who's like my dad's best friend, he told our middles, only tip the ball. Nobody's gonna be up. Just tip it like this, straight down. And they had like 6 kills in one set, and the other team was like going crazy. We just made their job simple. The libero wasn't. He got served a couple times in one game, and nobody had served him because I was a setter before, so I switched to outside because we lost our outside because Evan went to go play nationals or like on the USA team one year. So I had to hit. So they served me, and our libero like made it through the whole tournament without getting served. And then somebody served him and he shanked it. And they're like, oh, and they served him again and he shanked it. And we called timeout. And he's like, guys, I think they found me. So we just started passing like to me and Tui. Just making their roles
Sometimes
really
that jersey's
small.
a target, man.
Dude.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Jackson says it all the time.
But it was a disguise for a while.
It's the best secrets of club volleyball.
Yeah. So they just did their job super, super well. And we were a super low error team. So we just told them, like, hey, just keep your serve in, play defense. Just gave them roles that everybody could do. Everybody had a role they knew that they could do, and then they just did it.
That's really valuable.
For clear and really, really valuable, yeah.
How would you define – because, like, we always talk before every podcast, and we'd want to find a theme for each person that we have, right? And the one that we had for you was, like, your role as a volleyball player has been, like, incredibly fluid in the sense that, like, you've played outside, you've played opposite, you've played setter, you've played so many positions at a pretty high level. And we're like, how do you deal with it? Because, like, your role had to be so fluid that was like, one tournament I'm going to have to be like our main receiver. One tournament I'm going to have to be our main spiker. One tournament I'm going to have to set balls. But every tournament you were a good server, so that's pretty easy. But, like, how did you deal with that? Or were you just like, this is great, I just get to play volleyball?
I think it's super lucky that I get to do that because every hitter wants to set and every setter wants to hit, and I get to do both. It's just like whichever one that I'm doing worse at, I want to do the other one. So like if I'm setting, I'm like, I'm not setting that well. Like I'd rather be hitting. Or if people ask me what my favorite position is, I'm like, dude, whichever one I'm doing better at that time is just like the one I'd rather be doing. But yeah, like I said, we just did fundamentals my whole childhood. We didn't play any live. We just did drills, and everybody had to do all the drills. So like the middles had to set, we just made everybody as complete as a player as we could, because we're all the same height. So like I was the tallest on the 18s team, so like you never know. So we all had to just jump around from position to position. It's super fun, except for when you realize like you're not getting the chance to kind of like master one, but you're competing with people that are doing that every day. And that's when it gets a little tougher. Because besides that, I just think it's just volleyball. You just get to play.
For sure.
You just get the ball down on their side, like, and just try and win, no matter where you are on the court. If we have to rotate in like middle front sets, it doesn't matter. Let's just try and win.
Right.
But then when you get to like the international level and you're like, dude, this is tough to try and connect with hitters when you don't like set after a week. And then like you're coming in early to get serve receive reps, but like then that day you don't even pass. You're like setting the whole day. And then the next day you're getting setting reps because you think you're going to set that day. And then you're passing and you're like, can't really find a sync. It only like starts to show when you get to that level. That's when it gets to be like, oh, it's probably more of a curse than a blessing. Always been a blessing to me just to be able to just, or like I get aggressive and I want to hit, and then like luckily the coaches I've had have been pretty like accepting of that too. It's like if we're not doing well hitting, and I'm like, dude, just let me hit. Sometimes they're like, okay, we're gonna let you hit, and that's been like so amazing because I know every setter wants to do that. There's nothing more frustrating than being a setter that like you're giving it everywhere and you think it's good balls and it's just not. You're not winning or people aren't putting it away. And to be able to like switch to that is pretty sweet.
Dude, it's such a good feeling.
I think this is the third time we're saying it on the podcast, but being a true 6'2" setter and hitter is like the most fun volleyball position you could ever be in.
If they set you, they get sets.
Yeah.
So if you're in a 6'2", it's kind of like a brother situation too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like it's got to be such a gratifying feeling too when you're like, I can do this. I just want to let you guys know that like I can receive and I can attack. So like if you guys can't pull it together, I'll take your job.
I've never wanted it to be that at all. It's just been about just trying to win, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because I don't really want to step on anyone's toes or anything like that. It's just like, I'm just like, all right, we can figure it out later, but let's just like, we're in a game. Let's do whatever we can to win. And then after we'll figure out like about feelings and stuff, you know?
Afterwards, dude, I'll
like
take
that.
your job. I don't give a shit.
No, not even close. No, not even close. I'll go back to whatever. But like, if that's just what we need, and like, I would be in the same situation. I've never like, if people have played with me, like, if I'm not doing good, I'm not the guy that's like, I got this. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
for
could
sure.
you like help me out? Like,
Yeah, I'm the same way.
That, like, yeah, like, hey,
I'm not gonna
screwing it up,
lie, dude.
guys.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I hate when people lie and they're like, no, dude, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not fine. You
I'm
just
sure,
made like
dude.
10 errors in a row. Like, let me help you.
If I'm doing bad, I'm like, unless I'm like really aggressive where I'm like, I know I can like get out of it, I'm like, all right, take me out. Just take me out. Let somebody else try. Like which is why like in France, it didn't happen a ton, but like Mitch Stahl was like, man, just be ready. Like they use subs a lot. Like if you're not doing well, like it's different than America. And I was like, perfect. Like if I'm doing bad, I would like to get like put someone in to give them a shot, see what they can do.
Yeah, because the whole goal, like you said, is like it's to win. I remember that when we played Narbonne our last match, like I got yanked in the middle of the third, and everybody's like, "You didn't do bad. You didn't do bad." I was like, "You guys, we just took 3 points, and in this league, if you win 3 points, like you go from like 8th to 5th, or you could go 8th to 12th in a week. So it's like I'm down. I don't care. We just took 3 points, man.
Dude, 100%. Like, I don't know. I think that was just the way. Because also, what also helped was that Tui and Evan were. These are my childhood friends who I played with since Tui was on that first Micah Christensen team. And we were pepper partners because he was super young and I was super young. And then my dad's like, let's just take you guys and make our own team. Get you guys on the court. And then that's how this all started.
Yeah.
And then we picked up Evan later on at 12s, I think. But they were always like studs. Like they were always so much better than me. Like not even close. That like made my job so easy. I never had like I was just like, oh yeah, just give the ball to them and they put it away and we win. So, and like, I realized that. I'm like, I like to win. I don't care if it's about me. I just want to give Tui the ball and we win. And so like, even as I've like grown up, and luckily like growing up in Hawaii too, you get like some different advantages and disadvantages. It's not, I just wanted to win, you know?
For sure.
Like,
I think, yeah, I feel the
that
same
it
way
became
of
about.
like, at the end of the day, and like, I mean, you like you and I have both been like really fortunate and also really unlucky at times, because we've had other setters in our class that were also really good. So, which meant that we were gonna have to spend some time on the bench growing up, like with USA stuff, which was like always. It kind of sucked because you're like, all right, Josh Tuninga, you're pretty damn good, man. Like I kind of gotta let you go. And like with Micah Christensen, I was like, Micah, you're pretty good, man. Like I kind of gotta let you just go with this. But it's also at the same time, you're like, dude, if they're balling and we're balling, that's all that matters. Like I just want to win. I just want a gold medal. I want to get out of here with the gold medal.
And luckily they're good guys too.
They're the greatest guys.
Josh more than anyone. So it's like, if I could ever watch someone succeed, I would choose it to be him because he's just the nicest,
it was the same with
most
Micah.
down to earth guy. I'm like, dude, I've never seen hands like this. Like, you just go, just throw that thing anywhere you want it. Like, I'm totally fine over here.
What was it like playing against Josh, Tuaniga, and TJ? I mean, pretty much your whole club career, and then you end up meeting them in the NC2A finals.
They're just so talented. Like, they are so good at volleyball. It's unbelievable. TJ and Josh, and they played together so long and it's such a fast ball that it's just like, I guess it's kind of just normal now, you know? It's like, dude, these guys are so ridiculously good. It's unbelievable. And you just try your best. I mean, you still try your best to win, obviously.
What was it like playing on the same team with them and like training against them for the first time?
I can remember when we started playing together. I think it was my junior year of high school. Just so fun because you get around, like, everyone's young. Nobody, like, everyone just wants to have a good time.
And nobody knows,
And nobody knows. So you just show up to like a camp and you're there for like, we actually trained for a super long time.
Yeah.
And you're just there and it just seems like you're just having a sleepover after sleepover after sleepover. And like volleyball
Literally.
is like, we play volleyball. Like,
but you're like, where's the pool? Where's the hot tub?
Right.
Like, let's just go chill and then like go eat as much food as we can.
So us like getting together at a younger age actually probably helped because you just develop more of a friendship than like anything else, you know? There's like, to me at least, it was so not about volleyball, so much more about just having a good time.
Oh yeah, you're like you're building the brotherhood.
You don't remember the volleyball at all. I just remember the stupid shenanigans we got into.
I bet your dad loved that.
Oh yeah.
But that my whole life, so he's pretty used to it.
So when you signed to UCLA, was there any role clarity provided to you, or was it like you might be a hitter, you might be a setter, or did you sign as a setter?
The first with clarity was this past year in France, actually.
Oh man.
Like, I've never started a season with like saying this whole year you're going to be a setter or you are a hitter. Like, it's always just been joining the team and then playing and then just seeing.
God, that is so gnarly.
What was your role in France this year?
Just set the entire year. They were really close to putting me at hitter at some points of the year. But no, yeah, I set the entire year. And that's my second year setting full time. Start like specializing a little bit more. Because my junior year of college, I got so much better as a setter, reps and figure things out. Because you're always in the same mental space too. You're always thinking about the game through that. I don't know what I want. I just know that it was pretty nice to try and figure out how to set. Just because I think setting is so much harder than hitting.
Yeah.
And it's something that takes so much more like consistent work than hitting. Like hitting, you can kind of like passing for sure. You need consistent work. But you can kind of figure it out easier than setting is, I think, the hardest thing in volleyball for sure.
What makes it hard?
Ooh. absolute consistency is what makes it hard. It's like I've never seen a position that just can't make a mistake. Like a setter's mistakes are highlighted. If you make a bad mistake, like people are like, "What are you doing?" And then like hitters just spray balls and like, "Okay, next ball," or like you shank a ball. It's like, okay, but like if a setter gives you a ball like 6 inches too high, they hear about it like the next second. It's like, "Hey, that's too high. That's too low." Every single ball, and
That
it's
is,
like,
yeah.
I feel you, dude. I feel
and
you.
I'm like, dude, I don't say spike the ball 6 inches left, 6 inches right. Like, you don't kill it at 1,000%. Like nobody's passing 1,000, nobody's hitting 1,000, but the setter's got to set 1,000, and every ball's got to be perfect, or else you hear about it.
It's
So I
really
would say-
interesting too. Like it's like a total culture shift, like from the U.S. to obviously like in Europe. Because in Europe, like I remember that was a huge thing for me this year that they kept talking to me about. They're like, you have to be harder on your attackers. Like you can't ask them like, hey, is it too high, too low? And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
our whole culture is like to create a constant dialogue loop with your attacker and like build trust. But in Europe, they're just like, you gotta like puff your chest out and like be the man. And like if they suck, then you have to be like, you suck, man. Like step it up.
dude, it was so refreshing to go to Europe and like set a bad ball and the hitter like not say anything and try and work with it and be like, no, once that ball comes to me, it's my job.
Yeah.
Because that's how I attack hitting. It's like I've never given feedback. Like once it comes to me, I have to do something with it.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if that's like a Hawaii thing either, or like I think just good players are like that in general. It's just like it's my problem, it's not your problem anymore. But Josh Taylor, I remember talking to him, and like he was playing with Taylor Crabb like when they were really young, and Chris was the
Yeah.
coach, and Taylor said something to the effect of like I need the ball higher or lower, and Chris immediately called a timeout and just pulled him aside and just ripped him.
Dude, that's actually happened to me. Like, so my assistant coach, my dad's best friend, I set a ball somewhere and the hitter went like this.
Yeah, Jesus,
Oh,
dude.
He called a
There's
timeout
nothing I
and
hate
went-
more, dude.
He went off. I've never seen him so angry, and nobody ever said a word about another set I ever set, so it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that happen in junior college. Like one of my middles, I set them low, and one of my middles was like fucking made an error or something. Sorry, take the F word out.
No, go.
And he was like this, and I had a really good coach at the time, Bo Daniels, and he ripped that guy so hard.
Dude, it's so healthy because it's just such a bad. I don't know where it came from, but
I
it's
don't
such
either.
a bad rap for the setter.
Oh yeah, dude. Or like,
I don't know where that came from, but it's such a bad rap.
or when
It's
guys
just like
like,
throwing someone under the bus.
oh, dude, or they catch themselves in the net because it's like too tight or
Oh,
whatever, and it's just like,
there's
dude,
so much.
what?
There's so much extracurricular going on with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, being a hitter is so much easier.
Dude, I remember when I went to Finland, I was technically coaching with the national team because they were like they cut me, and so like I was technically the assistant
Okay.
coach for the Pan Am Cup team, and so I told this team in Finland, which is so sick, right? So I get cut on Friday and I get hired on Monday.
Shut up.
They're like, dude, we don't want you to. They're like, you know what? We got enough setters, and I was like, all right, cool. This is totally heartbreaking and devastating, but fine. And then
Yeah.
30 minutes later, I get a call from Ron Larson. He's like, I want you to come coach with me at Pan Am Cup. And I was like, sick. I'm in,
And
right?
what was that like? Like coaching people that you were just playing with like,
So it was really weird because like Friday, I get cut, right, and whatever. And like at this point, I'm like a utility player. You know the gym, like you're on the B side. And like
Yeah.
some days you have a libero, some days you don't. Some days you have an outside, some days you don't.
yeah.
But like I was doing like everything, which was great because
Yeah.
like magically people just wouldn't show up, and I was like, I showed up today. I get to
Yeah.
play. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but it was really interesting because on Monday I walk in and like this is kind of like what we were talking about with like as a setter, you have to like be pretty demanding and be like, I'm not gonna take shit from anybody.
Yeah.
So like immediately I walk in and like Kyle Russell, being Kyle Russell's like, hey coach. And I was like, don't you fucking talk to me like that. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
was like, you have to nip it in the butt right away or else people will
Yeah.
start making fun of it. And it was actually one of the
For
smoothest
sure.
transitions I've ever made. Because I always played like as an intellectual player, not as like a super aggressive or like, yeah, that just wasn't my personality. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. Here's how we strategize it, and this is what we're gonna do to win. So
Yeah.
guys always knew me for being that type of person that was like, we're playing a game within a game. I was like,
Right.
we're gonna make him set this so that at the end he sets this, and we know he's gonna set that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's how I always thought. So when I went into coaching and I knew I always wanted to be a coach, it was like really easy. And the guys were like begging for a coach because Ron,
Yeah.
he's just hardcore. Like he just works you to the bone, but there's not a ton
Yeah.
of feedback. So when there was a guy that was there that could like go off of them and be like, here's this feedback loop that like I can create with you guys now and help you out, they were like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. So it was actually really, really nice.
Dude, I didn't even realize that this happened, but we got our head coach in late December or
Yeah.
early January. And he took us on like a retreat to like get to know us and stuff. And so he took us to some place and we started playing like spike ball, and I got super heated with somebody and I like squared off with them and I shoved them and like I was like, let's go. And I was getting super nuts, and they pulled us apart. Well, they pulled me apart. And then I later on realized that like Europeans and Brazilians are like other countries are so different that actually helped me so much. People like respected me. They knew I had I had that in me.
You have balls.
And after that, I just got treated and I didn't put it together until Mitch Stahl was like, told me like, dude, yeah, I had to do that one time too. And like now people treat me way differently because they know I have like the chance to have some screws loose.
All right. So
That's true.
speaking of squaring off, I've heard a story about you
Lord.
when you were playing, I'm not sure if it was your junior or senior year, but you guys were at SC, I believe, USC.
Yeah.
And some guy was giving you crap in the stands, and immediately after the final whistle blows, I mean, he must have been saying some bad stuff to you because I heard you were not having it.
Yeah, no, I was frustrated. That was our last game. I guess he was saying stuff. I didn't hear him the entire game. Saying really messed up stuff. I didn't hear a thing. But what happened was I went back to the service line, and it was like 11. We're down in the fifth. And I was already pretty upset. And I'm like, kid, keep me on the service line. We're going to win this game. And I serve the first one. We get a super high overpass. And it's like, you know those balls you're just begging to hit the roof so you don't have to play them out?
Yeah.
It's like this close to the scoreboard. I'm like, seriously, it's not going to touch. And then our libero jukes out our middle, and the ball drops in the middle of our court. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Ready to just
So
punch a ball into the stands.
So now I'm so upset. And the ball ends up by this guy. And I go to get it, and this guy gets in my face, like, within, like, a foot, and just starts mouthing off me. And I'm just like, hey, stay right here. I'm going to have a word with you after this game. Stay right here. And I'm smart. I'm not going to, like, swing. I'm not going to do anything dumb. I just wanted to go up to him and talk to him. But my dad had seen that, and he was on the way opposite side of the stadium. And by the time the last point, we lost the next point, he was right behind the guy with my whole family. And I was telling him, like, hey, I'm not dumb. I'm not going to do anything right here, but let's do something. And then everyone started pushing and shoving, like my teammates trying to get people out of the way. And I was like so everyone just started shoving. And I'm like, what the heck? And I got taken out, and I didn't even touch anybody. And everyone's like shoving everyone. I don't know why it got so heated. I think he had a bunch of friends or something happened. And then it just escalated from there. I got taken out and saw something happen and got back in there. I don't know. There's a lot to elaborate on. Long story short, the old school players were pretty happy with it, and the new school players were not happy with it at all. So.
Yeah, we don't have to air that, but that was a good story, dude. I heard that this guy was mouthing off to you, and then he sees like a Hawaiian family, and then like it's like, okay, let's back off a little bit, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it escalated, but my dad was there quicker than he was there before I got there. I was shocked when I got over there.
Yeah.
But he just told me he saw it and he knew something was going to happen. So he booked it, and all my family booked it with him because they're like, where's he going? So they were there quickly. Yeah, it was a good story. It woke up the world a little bit, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Dude, how cool was it? Like, I can't even imagine because we don't have volleyball in Seattle, but like, how nice was it to go home for the first time, play in stand against like 10,000 fans? What was that feeling like the
Dude.
first time? How badly did you want to win too?
Dude, so we lost that first game back. We were number one. We hadn't lost a game in this season. We get there and we lose, and my family's there, and like I am devastated. Like they were wearing UCLA and like a bunch of Hawaii, and like stuff was going on, and we lost. So I didn't say a single word, and I was like super trying to win that game, obviously.
Yeah.
And the last ball drops, and it's a back-to-back because it's Hawaii.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word from the time that ball dropped until the next serve, the next day or the next night. I didn't say a word. Not to any. I didn't say a single word. I went home, sat there, and then that next night was like ended up being my best game of my career, I'd say. And we won. The next night. Thank God. I was
Thank God. You guys won in 5, yeah?
Yeah.
Both nights went 5?
I don't know. The first one probably went 5. It could have been 4 or 5, but I know it was really close, and we lost it. And I was like, that's the most upset I've been after a loss. I
was going to say more upset than losing the champions. I could see it actually not meaning more, but like personally meaning more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like
100%.
That's huge.
That one like more heart because my family's like last name and like I don't know. We take a lot of like pride and stuff in family, and they were all there. So I was devastated after that loss for sure.
Yeah, because like everybody like playing with Josh, and like Josh is obviously pretty holly, but like still when we went back our sophomore year, he was like, "Give me every football."
Dude,
it's
a different level of intensity.
He's like, we cannot lose this match. Like, there's so much on the line. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I was like, please do not walk on like into this with a different mentality. Like, we're the number 1 ranked team. Don't blow this for us is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then I started setting him every ball, and he must have hit like 700. And I was like, this
Dude,
is pretty sick.
It is. It's so different. Like, when people go home, they're pretty stoked. They're like, oh, nice, good to see people. I think for like Hawaii people, when we go home, it's like you're locked into a whole nother level.
But like, are you guys views as like traitors for leaving the island and going to mainland? Or is it like he's just trying to make a better life for himself?
I don't think so. I think maybe the first couple of guys maybe were. But
Yeah.
I'm so far down the line of people leaving that I think I'm safe. Like Micah left, the Mckibbins left, like the Crabbs left. Nobody stayed. Like Brad Lawson, Spencer McLaughlin, everybody had left. So when it came to me, I feel like the pressure is kind of off. Hopefully, I'm hoping that that's the case. I haven't heard anything. They could be pissed. I have no idea.
Did you have pressure to stay back in Hawaii, or was it always like, oh, like he's for sure gonna go mainland?
Not a lot. My parents didn't want me to stay. That's why.
Okay.
They wanted me to leave, and that's kind of the only people that like. Well, not the only people, but they have the most control. Like if I wanted to stay and they said no, I wouldn't have gotten to stay. So they called the shot for me, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go somewhere and check it out.
Did you always know you were going to go to UCLA, or was it like is it dicey decision?
Yeah, it was dicey. I was thinking about USG a lot because Tui was there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I would love to keep playing with Tui. And then my dad was like, all right, we're going to UCLA. I'm like, okay. So that made my decision pretty easy for me.
What was it like playing for John Speraw?
Whew. That's a good question. I feel like John Speraw has taken on this role of like the new godfather of volleyball in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's true or not. Maybe it's completely biased, but I feel like everybody's like, he's like this, you know, and everyone's like, oh, what's John Speraw like? But he's super down to earth. He's actually like a really caring person, which has been like pretty amazing to have in my life when you leave Hawaii. Super intellectual. He's like smart at everything, not just volleyball. He's like super curious about knowledge. He's always trying to find out about like science and cutting edge and stuff like that. I would say that's what makes him the most different than other coaches I've ever played for. Is like he's so invested in like pushing the game forward and like science and like not always doing things like the way that they've been done, but always trying to innovate. He's super innovative, super knowledgeable. Yeah, and he's super intellectual just with his approach on life. Not only volleyball, but like he's always reading like studies and stuff. Like I haven't read anything over like 5 pages of science, and this guy's just reading books of science. I'm like, what are you doing? You're a volleyball coach, and he's like, yeah, I know, but I love learning. So, which is like super cool to be around. It's nice to be around people that are always like trying to learn new things and kind of push the envelope a little bit. That would be like my short summary of John Speraw.
Do you feel like him and like his curiosity has also influenced you in becoming more curious and learning about stuff? Because I remember when we talked when we were in Poitiers, you were like, yeah, I just invested in the market and I just bought myself like a new soundboard and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like you're obviously like a pretty curious person if you're reading about the market on your spare time and you're trying to make it as like a SoundCloud god, you know? So like,
Yeah.
would you say like he's like a influencer there in like your thoughts?
100%.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I think like being at UC, I was always super curious.
Yeah.
But not as much like intellectually curious as much as like physically curious, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it really
no,
wasn't- I
it
wasn't-
makes sense in the way that you play.
Yeah. So I was always super curious about everything. I still am. Zana gets upset with me almost every day because I'm like 2 days ago I wanted to become a professional cricket bowler. Like I'm always getting into the weirdest stuff, and they last for like days, and like so she doesn't invest in them anymore, which is fair because she knows that next week it's gonna be like bowling or real bowling or something else. But I've always been super curious, and he just made like my intellectual side a little bit cleaner. Like I guess following my curiosities, he's helped that process be a little bit cleaner. Because before I would just like wonder things and come up with crazy theories and then just stop. And now I'm like, I pursue those theories a little bit farther and a little bit more in a more scientifically sound way because of his influence.
That's really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me you're that kid. Is you and I are like this? We're like we'll be stuck on like Watch Mojo and be like top 10 deep sea monsters, and then be like, is that real? Is that real, man?
Yeah, I can get caught up on anything, and I want to be like the best at it,
Yeah.
like really quickly, and then I'll just like get on to the next.
So here's a question that we're starting to ask everybody that comes on. It's kind of
Okay.
deep. It's kind of hard. It's kind of gnarly. But Jordan Larson brought this up to us because she said they're starting to do a lot of Zoom calls with the national team, and they're trying to like find a new identity, or not a new identity, but like refine their culture and make it better.
Yeah.
Right. So that like they're not wasting time. They're investing their time right now, and they can just go on and be better ready for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And the 2 questions that they ask each other are, who are you and what do you stand for?
Jesus.
Yeah. So, Micah Ma'a, who are you and what do you stand for?
Wow. You know what's interesting is I've tried to tackle this question a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm sure everybody has tried to tackle this question
At
a lot.
some point in time in your life, you have to.
100%. And I just can't figure it out. Like I have no idea. I've learned like a few things. One is that I'm really curious. I'm mostly like a pretty optimistic person, or like positive, I would say. I'm more into like having a good time than other people sometimes. Like sometimes I struggle to like take things seriously. So I would say I like to be a child. So like I'm curious, like just like a child would be, like really curious. Try not to take things too seriously. Like if anything bad happens, try and be like, okay, like it's not the end of the world. Like to have a lot of fun. Let me think of a couple other things that's who I am. I'm kind of a chameleon in the sense of like I'm always trying to change. I'm always trying to get better. I'm like not always trying to just, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Pretty open to like change in any way, except for maybe there's some things that I wouldn't want to change. And then what do I like? That's such a weird way to. That's such a basic way to describe myself. Could you like prompt some questions that would help me, or no?
So like here like we could provide you with an example.
That'd
so,
be
like,
great.
For me, when people are like, "Who are you? What do you stand for?" I say, as a volleyball athlete, I've always wanted to leave this legacy behind of he was a really good player, but he was a better guy.
Yeah.
And like that's always the most important thing to me is like I helped you achieve so much more personality wise than I could have ever done on the court. So like I just tried to make everybody as good as they possibly could be on and off the court, whether it's like as a brother, a son, a father, a player, a coach, whatever. Like I just wanted to bring out the best.
Wow.
That's my thing.
Yeah, no, that's really concise and like really like also not. That's a really good answer to that. I would say I'm kind of along those lines. I would say what I stand for. Maybe Zana can help a little bit with this. What do you think I stand for? Oh, I really stand for fairness. Like,
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves, and I know this is like the worst thing to get bothered by because life totally isn't fair. But when things aren't fair, that's one of the few times I get really upset. Even though I know it's not like that, I haven't accepted that at all. Like when things aren't fair, I really have a hard time with that.
I don't think I'll ever accept it. Like I mean, I talk about it all the time with like Jackson and stuff. Like we got fucking robbed my junior year. We should have went to the tournament, and I'll never let it down. I'll never let it down. And everybody's like, dude, get over it. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't. I'll never let it down. It's impossible.
Yeah. So many people are like, get over it. I'm like, those are just things I can't.
No, anything where I was not in total and complete control over, and then I got screwed, I'll never get over them. Like, I'll never put my life into somebody else's hands. I just get robbed every time.
No, 100%. God, that's a hard question. I also have like always asked other people who I am because I feel like that is more of a reflection of like who I am than who I want to be. Yeah. Because they can like, they're like, oh, you actually are this. And like, I know sometimes people can like say they are something that they're not because they want to be it, or like they think of themselves as that. But like, am I really that? Am I like doing that in the real world? Like, is that something you can feel and see in like my actions? So I've always just let other people describe who I am because I feel like it's just more accurate. Like that's actually what I'm doing.
Yeah, because your perception could be misguided sometimes, especially about ourselves, you know. So, and and if you have a good crew around you who tell you the truth,
right? Which is like important because you can't just let everybody just like determine who you are and what you are. But yeah, I try to keep it to like the people that I think really know me, and that are honest and that can really like help me out and want what's best for me. I would ask them because I wouldn't ask like people I might have a skewed version of me or that don't really know all sides of me.
For sure.
Then then let's throw that in for what you stand for: fairness, trust,
Yeah,
integrity,
for sure.
honesty, and I think
Curiosity,
you're
like,
curiosity. I think a big one for you would be family.
yeah, just having a fun time too with like anyone and everyone. I don't want to like have a day go by where it's like, oh, that day was just, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm here, I want to like have a good time with those people. Just be like present as much as I can be, and like put a big emphasis on like having a good time and trying to like be positive about a lot of things.
Yeah, I bet your teammates love that about you.
Yeah, I hope so. I can't speak for them, but
All right. All
right. So random question for you.
yeah.
When you first got into college, who was the first person to give you the business? Like on the other side of the net, who just kind of dominated?
That's a good question. When I first got into, I know who this was actually. This was Nicholas Surgeon.
Okay.
He gave
Nicholas
everybody
Surgeon,
the business, dude.
He ended our year in the semis, and dude, we were doing a 6-2, and we had lined me up. So he liked to serve straight down the line, if you remember, Matt.
Yeah.
He served straight ahead. And Speraw had this genius idea of putting me there when he came up to serve. And I remember being like, that's not a good idea, coach. Like, that's not a good idea.
What a
like,
mentality
no,
to walk into the match with.
He's like, no, we're going to put you right there. So I line up, and this guy hit me with the first serve, and I swear to God, it was like 25 rafters up. I shanked this thing harder than I've ever shanked the ball. And I remember looking at Dylan like, dude, what was that? And in the second set, he put us down 8-0. 8-0 with me and Dylan next to each other looking at each other like, dude, you got to take more seam, my guy. You got to take more seam. I got the line. That's all I got.
Oh, man.
His serve gave me – that's probably the biggest in my entire life. I've never been owned like Nicholas Sturgeon has owned me.
Dude, his serve was so gnarly because
he destroyed me.
It like obviously is like 70 plus miles an hour consistently, but it moved.
It is insane, dude. You couldn't figure out the depth. Like I'd line up at the end line being like, all right, here we go. And it'd be like 2 feet in front of me. I'd move up and hit me in the chest. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like the distance alone, like the depth alone was like, I just remember being like, dude, if I can get this anywhere up on our side of the court, that is a huge win.
Yeah.
Like that's the most by far to this day I've been like owned consistently, was being lined up right in his freaking wheelhouse.
Thanks, bro.
Dude, did you get him back? Yeah. I mean, you're a good server. Did you get him back at least once?
I don't know. I only remember just getting owned. I don't remember getting any. I don't remember a single good point of that match. Oh. But we lost 17-15 in the fifth in the semis on his ace. But he didn't ace me, but he aced our libero. And I just remember counting. You're just like counting around, and you're like, we got to get this done before this guy ends up on the service line. And we just didn't. We just kept pushing it to deuce, and then he showed up.
Is he one of the best players you've ever played against?
Yeah.
Who's the best? Who's the best?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a good question. In college, I would say Surgeon was the best. He was just in such a groove.
Better than TJ?
Better than TJ. I'm trying to think of the top players that I've played against. TJ and Surgeon. I'd say Surgeon was just in such a groove. Yeah. I'd say Surgeon. And then internationally, the best player I've played against?
Man, because there's some guys that are just randos and they just work you and you're like, I don't even know who you are.
That
you
dude,
just
the French League
me.
Opens you up and you're like, dude, there's so many good players everywhere.
Oh my God, dude. They're so you also realize how important net play is, and like any ball that's on the net, you're like, there's actually a chance I might lose now. Whereas in college, you could just go over people or through them.
Sure.
Now you're like, oh, there's timing, and like they'll just wax me into the stands.
they're super good players everywhere. I would say the best player that played against would be the most unstoppable player that I've seen was Politev. When I saw this guy, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This guy's like
so gnarly,
unstoppable." And then
I played him in a scrimmage when he was 17, and like at that point, he didn't have like the arm yet. Like he was still developing into his own. So we're like take line, dig angle, and so that's how we played him because he could just go block out on everybody. But then all of a sudden, like, well, he still ended up winning MVP of the tournament, playing like 2 years up. And then Pankov, or like Ivan Drago is what we called him, the kid who was serving like 80 miles an hour at 17. We were like, what is wrong with these kids, dude?
I would say the most incredible thing I've seen is just the whole Russian national team. The whole team. Like, dude, Kliuka
He's so sick.
Unbelievable. He's unbelievable, dude.
Their
physicality is just, it's like crazy how much it stands out to me. Like they were just something else.
They're all Matt Anderson.
Taylor Sanders also like, just to see what this guy can do is unbelievable.
Between him and Aaron Russell, who do you have a bigger man crush on?
They're both unbelievable volleyball players and people.
Yeah.
Like they're both like the coolest, most like go with the flow. They're so relaxed.
Aaron Russell's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Dude, yeah.
And he's
so
been
nice.
They've both been like that since we were like 14.
Yeah, they're so nice. They're so relaxed. It's crazy. Taylor, like, you couldn't make a more relaxed human being.
No, I mean, even when he walks in the gym and he
Dude,
just has his like rainbows on, just cruising.
He could run like 100-yard dash probably in 5 seconds and not even sweat and just be like laughing along. Like I'd never see this guy stressed out in my life.
Mm-mm. And I've also never seen a guy in so much pain while we warm up.
Really?
He's like warming up and like barely bending, and he's always like, ah.
Yeah, he is always. No, but he's not in pain. Just like slowly getting himself like.
Yeah, and then like he just starts whipping balls, and then like through warm-ups, you're like, all right, dude, I'm ready. Like I want to see something sick, and then all of a sudden you go full speed, and he's just yachtseeing Bix everywhere, and you're like,
dude,
where was this the last hour we were warming up, dude?
So effortless.
Oh, it's so sick. He was when I was in the gym and he was having his baby and he had to like hang out for a couple of weeks from VNL.
Yeah.
He was playing with the B team and like he's just cruising, like just giving everybody the business every single day. And I remember Jonas like saved a ball. He like set him a ball from 10 feet off like the back line and won, and he just chucks up a prayer. And it's right on the net, and Ron and I are standing next to each other, and Ron goes, watch this. And Sander goes up, and it's Shaw, Gorgeous George, and who was on the left? I think it was Jake Arnitz. And, like, Shaw and Gorgeous George left, like, that little golden triangle right there. And Sander goes up, and he goes, hiya, and just buries it inside of the 10-foot line. It just like walked away, dying laughing at these guys. And Ron goes, that guy's pretty good, huh? And just walked away. I was like, what is this? Like, this is a joke for him.
I've seen him do things that I've never seen anybody else do. Like, he is incredible.
When he first went into the gym and like we all walked in, it was right after they lost. It was like right at the end of his senior year when he won MVP of that World League, like the first World League he ever played in.
Yeah.
And he hit 3 of the nastiest, like cutting roll shots I had ever seen. And it was the first day. And I was like, if this is going to be his career, this is going to be the sickest career ever to watch.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's my favorite player to watch, I'd say, in the USA gym, maybe, yeah. Anything can pop off at any time.
Micah, have you ever thought of beach?
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit. Just in order to stay home and see, like, be here for people. Yeah, it's definitely not out of the question. I have no idea if I'll do it, but it seems pretty fun. It's a nice lifestyle, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have like a great example right next to you.
Yeah, it's a super nice lifestyle. Just at the beat, like these guys just live it up.
How much longer do you think you want to play indoor?
Dude, I have no idea. Like I'm
That's
gonna try
probably
and
better.
I'm gonna try and like do the natural thing. What people do is like, don't they like after every quad, they kind of like reassess.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just kind of I'm gonna like go through this one, and then right after I'll try and sit down and see, and then go through the next one if that is a thing, and then sit down and see. Unless like some crazy thing happens, that's kind of how I want to attack it for sure though.
Well, it's probably the smart way. I mean, if everybody's doing it, it's probably the right way to do it.
Right. It just seems like that makes the most sense because you don't want to leave like the year before or like I don't know.
Yeah, you want to get the
Just make sense
max potential out of it and just milk it while you can.
for sure. So
Are you guys doing anything like any Zoom meetings or Zoom calls with AB or Tim or whatever to like keep you guys going?
we do like a Zoom call once a week, but it's pretty just like really relaxed. It's just like updates on USA and like the coronavirus and stuff like that. It's not like training sessions or anything like that. Super relaxed.
That's mellow. I mean, I feel like our men's team has pretty good camaraderie on it, like just in general.
Yeah, I'd say so. And there's not like a ton that we could. Maybe there is, but I feel like there's not a ton we could be doing.
Fair.
Like over the Zoom, for sure we could watch film. I don't know what else. We could do like some identity things and stuff like that, but we just haven't been. We've just been kind of relaxing, which is pretty nice.
I can imagine, dude.
For all the players, I mean, when's the last time they got this amount of time off?
100%. Yeah, I can't
man.
imagine for like guys that have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, guys like Matt and Micah, where they can
like,
just be with their.
Probably heaven on earth.
Oh yeah, dude, where they can like be with their kids and just relax. I was thinking about. I was like, I wonder how many of these guys are going to be with their kids for an extended period of time, and come back and be like, I don't know if I want to. My kid's pretty awesome.
Dude, that's such a good point. I wonder, just everyone in their occupation after they come back from this is going to be like, nah, this isn't for me. I did some thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
For real.
For sure.
Like, there's just so
remote.
much time on people's hands to try and like figure out what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah, true. Yeah, how many people are just they're like, unemployment's actually the best thing that's happened for me. I'm going to go do it. I'm just going to go do something else. Like, I hated working at my job anyways.
Yeah, so many. I don't know. I think like a lot of people are reconsidering just where they are in their lives.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Well, this is like the perfect time for you to answer, your questions. Who are you and what do you stand for? This is it.
I know. I definitely have I don't have like a sentence, but I have like a rough idea, which is a lot better than I used to have it.
Yeah, if you have like a vision, that's pretty good. That's steps in the right direction.
I have like, I can kind of like wrap it together in like a really not specific way. Throw some things out there.
All of us have a ways to go until we're a finished product.
100%, yeah, for sure.
God. Well, Micah, I think we're good here.
Sick. Thanks for having me, boys.
Dude, thanks for
thank
coming
you
on.
so much.
That was awesome.
Of course, man. It was good to see you guys. And what is this called? What is this podcast called?
It's called I Think We're Good Here, because Marv, whenever you end anything, Marv always says, and I think we're good here. And then you just bounce.
Sick. Okay. And where can I find it?
You can find it on Apple Podcasts, or like we have an Instagram account with all the links on it and stuff.
Go.
You just look up I Think We're Good Here. So yeah,
Sick.
and then yeah, man, thank you again. It was awesome, really.
Of course, dude. I think we're good here.
I think we're good here.
Thanks, Micah.
All right. Nice to meet you, Jackson.
You too, bro.
Take care.
Later.